Hey, everybody. Adam Jackson back here for another episode of the podcast. I'm going to try a new format this time. We're going to do this is kind of inspired by Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase. He just did a top 10 startups I'm excited about it going forward in the crypto space. Selfishly, Braintrust was on that list. So thanks for the plug. This is top 10 things I'm excited about from now through the rest of this year. Just up and coming things, some tech, some not. Some of them I'm invested in, most of them. All right, number 10, AI-powered wealth management tools. Wealth management has been stuck in the Stone Age for a long time. And when I say wealth, like it could be 100 grand, a million, 10 million, anything below like where you have your own family office, right? So there is so much paperwork generated by these things. It's hard to figure out how to rebalance and practice smart risk management. There's things like Wealthfront and whatever that charge you fees to buy indexes or whatever, but I'm excited about a whole new class of wealth management platforms where they're powered by AI. You can imagine like sending all the paperwork to this thing and it just sorts it out. It gives you, automated reporting. Fees are super low. There's experts behind the scenes helping you risk manage and understand, how to deploy. It's not just a 60-40 stock bond portfolio anymore. That's going to cut it. So I'm seeing a whole new class of these startups. Actually, a good friend of mine in Florida, who's been in this business for decades, is starting to build a new one. It's kind of for people who, don't quite want to set up their own massive family office yet, can subscribe into this platform. And anyway, I'm really excited about it. Number 9, open source large language models. So obviously we have things like ChatGPT and Bard that are kind of interesting. They hallucinate a lot, which means they say bullshit and sound like they know what they're saying, just like a lot of people I know. So that's fine. They'll get better. But like, if you're going to feed your data to those things, you're crazy, right? Like you're giving your data to OpenAI, closed AI, or Google. Like if you're running a business where you have proprietary information, you don't want Google and OpenAI to have that data. So there's many open source models. This company called Hugging Face, like the emoji Hugging Face, just raised a monster round. They're like a directory of all these models and they're all pre-trained. If you're going to run one for your business, you're going to train it on your own data. It doesn't need to know like what happened to the Titanic or the French Revolution or all these other things that the larger commercial models are trained on. You can train this on your own data. At Braintrust, we're using it to sort your feed for your professional network to make it super interesting, filter out talent, filter out spam, help talent upskill, that kind of thing. That's how we're using this technology. I think accountants and lawyers will use it to automate just a lot of the busy work they do right now, collecting forms and whatever. So I don't know that if the future is startups providing these, but I certainly think startups will be using them. So really excited about the open source version of this technology, not the ChatGPT or Google Bard. Number 8, sugar-free Monster energy drinks. I just sort of in my life, I kind of move from vice to vice, and the next device is hopefully a little less harmful to me than the prior one. So Monster energy drinks, I'm sure if there's some kind of new cancer they'll cause, but better than 10 Diet Cokes. 7th, real world assets on chain. So if you're in crypto, you've probably heard about this before. It's one of the things that crypto has always been promising that will happen, and to date hasn't. And I've invested in many things that in this space that haven't worked out. But the idea here for anyone who's not familiar, you're basically taking something of value in the real world, like a T-bill or a building, real estate, a stock. I think same things that have nothing to do with the blockchain, and you're tokenizing it. You're allowing for fractional ownership of that asset on chain, and so you open up all this new liquidity. People can more easily buy and sell, trade fractional pieces of this asset, and where there's more liquidity, there's more value, right? That's just an obvious thing. So I recently invested in a company called Superstate. They're not in stealth. They've talked about it. It's Robert Leshner who founded Compound. It's his new startup. They're bringing T-bills on chain, so the T-bills can be used in DeFi trading. So T-bills earn like 4.5-5% right now. If you have dollars on chain in USDC or USDT, they're not earning any interest unless you lock them into some other smart contract, which is expensive and whatever. So instead of having to hold USDC, you'll be able to hold these T-bills and earn interest while you're not in another asset. So I think that's just a beachhead there. I think he's going to build some other really incredible stuff on that platform. Real estate, it's an obvious use case. Sam Lessin started in the Slow Ventures guys, started something called Slow DAO or SDAO. I don't know what they're calling it now, but it recently bought a ranch in Montana, like a real one, not something in the metaverse. And then it's tokenized and you can trade in and out of it and whatever. And that's just the first, they're moving on to, it's kind of a proof of concept, but it is actually working. Super exciting. Number 6, Samsung frame TVs. I just finished renovating a house. I put a few of these in and they look like artwork on the wall. Like they have a matte finish. They're also really affordable. They're nice TVs. You can like watch whatever you want on it. It's got AirPlay and all the other crap built into it. So you can stream phones and whatever onto it. And they're like 1/3 the cost of like the monster, 4K or 8K LG TVs. And they look great. They have like a art feed. I just put pictures of my kids up on them. They're awesome, and very affordable. Number 5, the return to office trend. I love this new trend. This is the corporate waste machines of America are demanding everyone come back into the office and slave away in their cubicles and waste hours and hours sitting in traffic instead of having flexibility at home. Now, this is I'm being a little bit glib here. I feel for anyone who has a job and has to succumb to this fucking nonsense. I like it selfishly because it's easier. It's made recruiting top talent easier for networks like Braintrust, both our core teams and other startups I'm involved in, and our network, right? The Braintrust network is like almost 500,000 people and it's all remote, about half US, half not US. And this, by these companies who demanding people come back to the office is just admitting you don't know how to manage people. That's all that is. There's a gradient here. Obviously, if you're in an embryonic phase of a startup, obviously the founders and the early team need to be in the same room, whiteboarding stuff. And I don't think companies should never meet in person, but it should be ad hoc, right? It should be like everyone in the same room for a couple of days, and here's the list of things we're gonna accomplish, and we're gonna break bread and drink wine and have fun together and bond. Like absolutely in-person collaboration needs to happen. But if you're just dragging people to the office because you want to look over their shoulder and make sure they're working, you're just an idiot. It's just absolute nonsense. So good job, return to office, corporate America. Number 4, new token economic experiments. So this is back to crypto. Tokens are the most innovative technology of our time. I know AI is amazing too, but I like things that you can make a lot of money on and can create a lot of value. Ethereum, I think, is just the best example of this fully decentralized network where anyone can participate as a miner. I run validators. I'm a staker, all that stuff. Or tokenized networks like Braintrust, where the network itself isn't really making money, but the people who work on Braintrust are making more money. They're keeping 100% of their income. Obviously, when you bring money onto the internet, you get bad things along with good things. Sam Bankman-Fried, all of the frauds and all that stuff. Like, fortunately, he's back in jail, but it's not all bad, right? There's a lot of innovation here too. So I love seeing. So I'm an active investor in this space. I see a lot of pitch decks, a lot of entrepreneurs come our way. We get a lot of decks called Braintrust for X, which just means use your own network, right? It's just like, how about a law firm owned by, the people who contribute, or an accounting firm that's more of a co-op than just 2 or 3 partners, or a talent firm owned by the talent serving clients. A couple examples, I think, of established projects that have very interesting token economics. Crypto.com. I recently got one of their credit cards. You buy their token, CRO, you lock it up. They pay you interest on it. It gives you better rewards. It pays for your Spotify, Netflix, whatever. I don't have an affiliate link or whatever. I'm not an investor. I do own CRO tokens because I have to use a credit card, but their token economics, like the way they innovate is awesome. I highly recommend. Eco is another one. This is it's essentially like a blockchain-based neobank, and you can pay your rent through it and all these other things, and they give you rewards. They're Andy Bromberg and Henry Alt, 2 of the founders there. I'm an early investor in that. but they've been innovating really quickly there. Awesome token economy. Friend.tech, which is a new social network. If you're in crypto, you've definitely heard of this. It's a social network where you can buy shares or keys of notable people. And it's the value of those shares are set on a bonding curve. So the more people that buy it, the higher the price is. And then what you get for that is like private access. It's like being in that person's private Telegram room. It's a fun experiment. Who knows if it'll work out long term. On Braintrust, we're experimenting with all kinds of new token mechanics around the professional network, people using Braintrust tokens to pay experts to mentor them or help them coach them through things, sort of where LinkedIn kind of left off on career development. We think it's an interesting token use case. So very excited about all those, which leads me to number 3, Coinbase's new L2, which is called Base. So Base is it's a copy of another L2 called Optimism. L2s are just blockchains that run faster than the core L1 blockchains like Ethereum or Bitcoin. So Base, what's interesting about Base, I mean, there's a bunch of EVM, Ethereum compatible, Ethereum virtual machine compatible L2s out there that run quickly. Polygon's the biggest one. What's interesting about Base is it integrates directly with Coinbase's centralized exchange. So this makes onboarding to an L2 far easier, right? So if you want someone to say buy Braintrust tokens with their credit or debit card, right now you can only do that through Coinbase Pay on mainnet Ethereum. Soon you'll be able to do it right to Base, right? So right from credit card, right to Base, and then it moves very quickly, very, very low transaction costs compared to Ethereum. So we're partnering with Coinbase on that over at Braintrust. Very excited for that. Number 2, NFTs. I know this is like a punchline and you might think I'm kidding, but I'm not talking about JPEGs, although digital art's cool, whatever. I have a bunch of those, but I'm talking about NFTs serving as membership cards or experience, like evidence of experience. So for instance, I'm investing in this beverage loyalty points platform where you'll be able to, scan a drink or scan a bottle or participate in some activity that's sponsored by a brand and earn points, loyalty points that can then be redeemed for anything else, even cash, right? So think about like Amex points are sort of the gold standard for loyalty points, and then they can be used for a lot of things, right? I can earn Amex points on my platinum card and then book a flight on United or book a hotel room with Hilton or do a bunch of things. And I have to spend money to earn them though, right? What if you could earn points just by doing things you would normally do and then redeem them for other valuable things? So NFTs are sort of the core backbone of that. Also, I'm an investor in a new sort of NFT focused, very user-friendly wallet called Croesus. It's built it's like MetaMask is for developers. Croesus is for mainstream users. It's almost like a super app, right? It'll collect all your NFTs. It'll help you with, a lot of cars and watches and things like that are now coming with NFTs. It'll help you keep track of all those provenance. There's a lot of people moving title to NFTs, so it'll help you keep track of that stuff. If something happens to you, you can set permissions for other people to manage these things for you, all in a really user-friendly way. No complicated private keys, no memorizing 24 words, that kind of stuff. So that space, obviously, like all the speculation on JPEGs has given it kind of a bad name, but NFTs are going to unlock a whole new class of commerce online. And then number one, let me caveat, I don't know anything about it, but I love trying new things. Like 2 months ago, I went down to Mexico and got stem cells and did all this other crazy stuff. I love trying new things that could potentially be helpful, help me in my personal and professional growth. So my number 1 is hypnosis. So I don't know anything about hypnosis, but I do from what I've read, I understand it's sort of like rewriting your own source code in your brain. And so I've read, it can help people, overcome traumatic things in the past or work through addiction issues or whatever. I don't really have those, but plenty of parts of my source code that I would like to consider rewriting. And I think hypnosis could be, the next interesting thing. So anyway, that's it. If you like this show, please like, subscribe, write a review, share it. We'll see you next time.